Good morning. This is November the 24th, Sunday, 2024. We are in BBA first semester compulsory English class, where we last week finished reading John Halt's essay, School is Bad for Children. Have you marked everyone's presence? Are you sure? Okay. Where we saw how John Holt begins by portraying a very positive image of a child, and then says that a child is very intelligent, diligent, hardworking, smart before he or she comes to school, and then gives a proof that a child unravels the mystery of language by learning the mother tongue without a teacher's support and without ever going to school. And then from paragraph 3 onwards, I guess Holt starts criticizing formal education, and Holt shows how many things we teachers and the school does to child destroys his capacity, her capacity of learning independently. He does so up to paragraph 7. Then in paragraph 8, he asks the question, so far criticism, now what is the solution? Then he says there are easy solutions and there are difficult solutions, there are short-term solutions and long-term solutions. And from paragraph 9, he starts discussing the solutions. First, he talks about a difficult solution, that is abolishing attendance. And he discusses the pros and cons of the idea of abolishing attendance. Then he talks about other easier solutions. For example, he says we can take students out of the classroom into the world. Then he talks about bringing the world into the classroom. And then he talks about, oh, thank God you are, this is the second time you are late, okay? Come in. And, yeah. And then he talks about letting children teach one another. Then he talks about letting children judge one another. And what he implies is that with children, students can learn on their own. And then he says that we should train children to learn on their own. And he says that we should connect life and learning, because the ultimate aim of education is helping a child make sense of the world and make sense of the people around him or her and make sense of himself or herself. This was what we studied in the previous class. Now we are moving to yet another essay written by one of the professors here in Nepal at the Tribhuvan University. Have you heard the name of Professor Arun Gupta? That means you do not regularly read Kathmandu Post. He sometimes or frequently, let's say, writes in Kathmandu Post. And he has written a number of books also. He is a professor who teaches English language, literature. And he has written books on literary theory and criticism as well. This article, I remember, was published last year in the month of July, on 8th July. And many people read and shared this article on social media and praised the writer for his argument and his support for the teachers. And then we decided to include this in your course. The context when he wrote this article was, I remember there was news on television, in media, that many Nepali laborers who are working in Middle Eastern countries like Saudi Arabia, Dubai, etc., they were not getting their salaries for various reasons, and they were facing difficult time. That was the kairos, that was the context of the time. There were news that Nepalese laborers are not being properly paid. They are having difficult time in the Middle Eastern countries. Now let's begin with the title. The Violinist, the Student, and the Unpaid Teacher. So you can see it's a title that has a phrase without a verb. We have one noun, the violinist. So one who plays the violin. And then we have the student, second. Then we have the teacher. Teacher. And there is an adjective before the teacher, very unpleasant adjective, a bit uncomfortable adjective, unpaid teacher, right? Focus particularly in your mind about the word pay. When you say the word pay, what comes in our mind is mostly money, because we pay in cash, right? A week ago, I guess, I read one quotation by Richard Feynman on social media. Feynman somewhere said that knowledge is not free, you have to pay attention. Knowledge is not free, you have to pay attention. For example, those guys at the back right now, he was listening, he was talking to his friend, and let's try what happens when you don't pay attention. Okay, could you recall and tell exactly what I was talking about right now in the class before you turn to him? Just a trial, just I'm trying to see. No, look what happened. Look, he didn't pay attention, and now he says, no sir, I don't have any idea what you were saying. Look, knowledge is not free, you have to pay attention. Actually, I was saying that if you don't pay attention to your teachers, you don't learn, you can't learn. Because knowledge does not come free. It's highly expensive. And here, I guess, you are paying a huge amount of money to be in my class, right? You are not in my class just for free. Right? The college has allowed you to be my student because you're paying a huge amount of money. Okay. But the word pay, you not only pay money, you pay some more things. Let's see the collocation of the verb pay. You also may be paying respect. Paying respect. That culture of paying respect to teachers has died away, I feel so. Particularly in private schools. Even so more, in my experience, I'm sorry I'm on the camera. In so-called expensive schools, I've seen that the culture of respecting teacher is very poor. I see here that I teach students a semester or two, and when they reach the third semester and they walk down the corridor, they see the teacher, me, and I have eye contact, and they turn away. They don't even smile, they don't even say hi, they don't even say hello, they don't even say good morning, sir. They don't even greet. But not everybody is like that. Before I came to class, I was in the corridor, and then there was a girl child. She stopped me and said, hi sir, good morning. I said, good morning. She said, how are you sir? I said, I'm fine. Then she says, Divakar sir, remember my name? Then, I have become forgetful. I looked at her for a while. I tried to remember. Then I said, yeah, I remember. You had done your assignment, and I had written your name with my handwriting in your assignment, and I had misspelled your name. And when the video went on Facebook, went on YouTube, you watched the video on YouTube, and you told me in class, Divakar sir, you have written my name incorrectly. You are Selena. And I remember there is Selena Dion, there is Selena Gomez, and there is another Selena in my class. She was so happy. The child was so happy. She was really happy to find that her teacher, even after 1 year, remembers her name. Then there is another girl. She says, sir, you remember her name? Can you tell my name? I look at her, then it doesn't come to my mind. Then I say, you were sitting by the window side. Then I say, you were sitting on the first desk on the window side. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. My name? Then I say, you must be Bini Prajapati. Now she jumps with happiness. And both of the girls say, sir, you made our day. Look, the girl said to me right now here, you made our day. That is what human relationship is. She didn't give me money. I didn't give her money. What we exchanged? We exchanged happiness. She was happy. I was happy. And I said, you two made my day, girls, early morning. Nice. I enjoy talking to you. That is what means to live a life. But that culture where one person enjoys meeting another person is dying. And we are not paying respect to people around us. And we are not paying respect to teachers. I came from another culture where in India, our rule was that if we saw the teacher, we'll just walk down and we will touch the teacher's knees with a palm like this. We'll put our palm on the knees and put the palm back on the chest. This was the tradition we did in India. We'll put the palm on teacher's knees like this. And if the teacher happened to be Brahmin and we knew he's Brahmin, we'll put the palm right on the leg, feet here, down here. We'll bow down, we'll bend down, and we'll make sure we'll touch the feet and we'll put the palm back on the heart. And every time I greeted a teacher like that, touching the feet, I had the feeling that I wish I could become as honorable as this gentleman. And I became a teacher. I became a teacher because I saw how much respect the society offered to the teacher in India. Sometimes I feel if I was a student in Nepal, I wouldn't become a teacher because I will see the disrespect Nepali society many times gives to the teachers. Okay, leave that. So I was talking about the idea paying money versus paying respect. So this essay, can I get the attendance sheet? She has come to collect. This essay raises the question. What question? How can we pay our gratitude to the teachers? Right? So we have three words. There are three parties in this story. Right? Let's make a triangle. The violinist, the student, and the teacher. Right? There is a fourth party. There is a fourth party that the writer talks about. Let's make it the violinist, the student, the teacher, and the parent. And the parent. 3 or 4 days before, I was in the staff room, and me and the administrator, we were talking about an issue, and there was a lady on the chair in front of the administrator. She heard me for a couple of minutes, and then she said, you know what she said? सरले भडास निकाल्नु भयो. It struck me. She was a lady in her late 30s, I guess, or early 30s. She heard me. I was talking about my strict rule in class because there was a problem. I was talking about how I close the door. I was talking about how I don't allow students to come late in my class. And then she says, सरले भडास निकाल्नु भयो. I didn't respond to her because normally I do not react to guardians because I believe I'm responsible to college directly, not to the guardians. The college deals with the guardian. I didn't respond to her. But now I remember. And I feel like that guardian, I guess he was a guardian here, has no respect for the teachers. And I've seen many guardians, parents, who have no respect for the teachers. The reasons may be different, I don't know. And this article brings that issue in public. Let's read. So because this article was published in a daily newspaper, so you can see the audience for this article were Nepalese readers. Or not only Nepalese, because this newspaper also goes online edition, a digital edition. So global, I'll say global. The audience is anybody who has a concern with education today. The audience is anybody. So normally in newspapers you will see there are headings of the items, opinion articles. This is an opinion article. An opinion article normally is published on the page where you see the editorial. If you read broadsheet newspapers. That page where you see the editorial, by the side of the editorial section, you will see 2 or 3 articles, opinion articles. This is opinion article. It expresses an opinion on an issue. Okay. So let's see the tagline or subtitle. Pop culture often forces us to think of a teacher as a stupid character worth making fun of. I remember in many Bollywood movies, when I was a child, we would watch movies, and one thing we always saw was that the teacher in Bollywood movies was referred to as Masterji. Masterji. He will be wearing a kurta. In Indian society, khadi ka kurta and dhoti or pajama and simple sandals. He'll be putting on a white topi, and he will be wearing round Gandhi type glasses, and an old fellow, this character in the movies. And Masterji, and while Masterji was teaching on the whiteboard or blackboard, children from the back, they will make balls of these scrap papers and they will throw at the Masterji. I have seen this scene in many Bollywood movies. So the character of a teacher in Indian cinema is not presented positively often. It is presented in a negative light as somebody to make fun of. Right? Let's read ahead. See the argument here. This sentence presents the argument. What? Pop culture, our culture. And by pop culture, you can mean, in a sense, the Western culture. Though we have the Western culture here also today. A pop culture forces to think about a teacher, how? That the teacher is stupid, right? And in capitalistic societies, sometimes you might think that my parents are paying a huge amount of money to college, and I'm here in the classroom, and this gentleman who is teaching, why should he preach me? No, he is a paid laborer. I paid him, and so I'm giving him money. He's teaching. He should teach and go away. I have seen some students having this attitude in my class also. I have seen the attitude that I paid you money and teach me and go. But the question is, long ago in 1987, Mr. Lakshman Prasad Srivastav taught me English grammar for 3 months. The monthly fee was 60 rupees per month, and when I went to pay him 180 rupees, he refused to take fee from me. We were in a group of 6 people. And he said, Divaka, इस ग्रुप में तुम सबसे बढ़िया विद्यार्थी हो, अच्छे विद्यार्थी हो, तुमने बहुत परिश्रम किया है, तुम्हारे पिताजी को मैं पहचानता हूँ, गुरुजी को, तो मैं तुमसे फी नहीं लूँगा. Then I said, ऐसा कैसे हो सकता है गुरुजी, आप 3 महीने हमको पढ़ाए हैं, पैसा लीजिए. Then he said, अगर तुम मुझे वास्तव में दक्षिणा देना चाहते हो, तो तुम मेरे जैसा टीचर बन जाओ. And I became a teacher. And I became a teacher to pay my teacher. You won't believe. I never forget this scene. It was evening. He said, if you want to really pay me for what I've done to you, become a teacher. His meaning was, no amount of money can pay what he had done to me in my life. You can never pay a teacher with money. Why? Now look, he did not charge me 180 rupees. And because he taught me English, today I earn around 130,000 rupees per month as a teacher. Right? And he didn't charge me 180 rupees. If he had not taught me that nicely, I wouldn't be able to teach and earn money. Now the question is, I paid him, let's imagine, I paid him 180 rupees only. But now I am earning I am earning 150,000. Now the question comes, I am earning this money only because He enabled me. Now, I gave him only 180 rupees as a tuition fee. I am earning 1,50,000. That means I have 1,49,000. 820 surplus with me. I have this money. I am earning this much more money than I paid him. This is called surplus in Marxism, according to Karl Marx. What Karl Marx argued, that if I'm a laborer and I work at your home and I work in your farm, let's say, and I worked 6 months in your farm and you paid me 6,000, let's say, for 6 months. Now the agricultural yield you got from that field brought you, let's say, 2 lakh rupees because of my labor. Now you have 1,94,000 surplus because of my labor. Because if I had not worked in the field, you wouldn't get 2 lakh rupees from the agricultural yield. That's what is surplus. And one argument here is that when we teachers teach you, we build your skills, we build your abilities, we build your knowledge. And that skill, ability and knowledge enables you in your life to earn a lot of money and a lot of opportunities. So you can never pay a teacher. I thought, I am teaching you today, tomorrow you might do PhD from Harvard. And at one point you will feel that at this PhD, one foundation stone is laid by Divakar also at LSEM in 2024. At least one stone. So how can you pay back? You can't pay back. You can never pay teachers back. The only way to pay a teacher is, become Nicholas Gaze. Become Nicholas Gaze. Nicholas Gaze is a world famous author who regularly writes in the newspaper, the New York Times. I guess he has not died yet. You check online and you will see his articles. And in this story, the teacher who changed my life, Nicholas Gaze, talks about her teacher, whose name is Marjorie Heard, a lady teacher. And Nicholas Gaze describes his teacher, why she was a great teacher. I won't discuss this story because this is in additional reading in your course, not in compulsory reading. But it's a wonderful story to read. And if you want to read about great teachers, read this story. If you want to read great teachers, read about this teacher, Marjorie Heard. So how does Nicholas Gaze pay her teacher? When she was old, her teacher called her one day to Nicholas Gaze because Marjorie Heard was in touch with Nicholas Gaze even after she got retired and even after Nicholas passed the college, school. She was in touch. And one day she called him, maybe made a phone call, I guess, I forget. And Marjorie said, Nicholas, when I die, visit my morning, what do you call that, I don't get the word, the program you hold when somebody dies to commemorate their memories. What do you call it in English? Funeral. Yes, sorry. I'm so forgetful. So Marjorie said, Nicholas, when you attend my funeral, please, you will read my obituary. Obituary is a formal kind of letter that someone writes in praise of the person dead, and they read. This tradition has come in Nepal also. It was not here previously. But these days I see that when a dead person is taken to Pashupati, I have seen that they say something about the person these days, obituary. You read in praise of dying person. So Marjorie said, Nicholas, when I die, you will read my obituary. And Nicholas wrote this obituary, and Marjorie Heard became world famous. If Nicholas had not written this story, nobody would know Marjorie Heard. Today, Marjorie Hall is known around the world. Most students know because this essay is in many courses, in many places, many countries. So a good student can make a teacher immortal. Now Marjorie Hall will never die because she is living in Nicholas Gage's words. This is how you pay your teacher. One way to pay your teacher. This is how you pay your teacher. And I paid my teacher, Lakshman Prasad Srivastava, how? By taking up his legacy. Why I became a teacher? Because I thought, if I don't become a teacher, the society will suffer. And I became a teacher. Because I wanted to carry his legacy. Because I was inspired by him. Though I'm not able to inspire you, but I thought I should carry on the great legacy. That is how you pay your teacher. Move ahead now about the essay. You know, writing is something that inspires discussion. Okay, move ahead. Let's read now. You can go to this what do you call, I don't get the word, this URL if you want to read. Okay. Imagine a violinist moving his bow dexterously on the strings as lightly as a feather levitating in the air, and producing a sonorous sound. Imagine also the violinist student receiving the cadence of his music with equal diligence. This harmony reflects a relationship between a teacher and a student. When this harmony is fractured, something is seriously wrong with culture at large. So let's talk, how does this essay begin? This is, I'll say, meditative essay. In a meditative essay, the writer ponders and reflects on a serious issue. In a meditative essay, the author ponders and reflects on a serious issue. And how does the essay begin? The essay begins with present simple tense, if you see, right? It begins with imperative verb imagine. The speaker is requesting whom? His audience. Who is the audience? Parents maybe, other teachers maybe, students maybe, anybody who has a concern about the culture of education. So he says, imagine what? That there is a violinist. And if you have watched videos on YouTube channel about the violinists, they sit in a very composed posture, and they hold their violin by the shoulder, and they use the bow and play the music you have seen. Next, what is a bow? You have the, I'm not good at art. I'm not good at art. Take it normal. The bow is this one. Dexterously, very skillfully. On the strings, there are strings. As lightly as a feather. Now this is simile. Comparing. As lightly as a feather. Levitating in the air. You levitate when you jump, you leave the ground, levitate, floating. And producing a sonorous sound. Now, as I read this line, and I imagine, because, you know, Nabokov, famous Russian professor and author, once said in his essay, Good Readers and Good Writers. There's a wonderful essay, 3-5 page essay, you should read it sometimes. Good reader and good writer. In that essay, it discusses how you can become a great reader and writer. Nabokov says that every writer uses his imagination to write. Therefore, every reader should approach the writing with equal imagination. A writer has to imagine to write. You can't be a writer if you are not imaginative. And who is a good reader? One who is imaginative. So let me imagine. What I imagine? This violinist is actually a teacher. This moving his bow dexterously is actually teaching, the act of teaching. The strings are the students. Students. And this movement of the bow, I sometimes imagine this is strict behavior of the teacher. I remember once there was a teacher, and my habit was I used to be very informal with the students. And he used to be very formal. And he said, Divakar sir, we are teachers. Our job is to teach in the classroom. We are not in the classroom to be goody-goody with them. If we become goody-goody with the students, they won't learn. Sometimes I agree with him. So here, look, now let me imagine and understand the line. As lightly as a feather. So, a violinist, an expert one, knows how much pressure to exert on the strings, how fast or slow to move the strings, the bow, because he's an artist. A violinist is an artist. A teacher too is an artist. Teaching too is an art. Teaching is an art. As lightly as feather, levitating in the air, producing a sonorous sound. And I imagine this production is producing knowledge in the student, imparting skills to the student, imparting abilities to the student, transferring a legacy to the student. Look what I did. I spent 10 minutes time understanding, interpreting a single line. This is how we read. Reading is what? Reading is generating ideas. Reading is generating ideas. Imagine also the violinist student receiving the cadence of his musician. Now imagine I'm a music teacher, you're my student, I'm here with my violin, you're over there with your violin, so I'm giving you lesson on notes. You're beginning to learn. So I first demonstrate you. Look, I say, look, and I move the bow, and you are very carefully watching me to learn how to play music. The violinist student receiving the cadence. Now, I like the word cadence. What is cadence? The notes or chords, music, the sequence of notes that produces beautiful music. I interpret cadence to mean the relationship between the student and teacher, to mean the cordial feelings we cherish each other. Cadence for me will be what Selina said to me in the early morning in the corridor. She said, Divakar sir, you made our day early morning. That's cadence. A wonderful relation between me and the student. Now whole day I'll think of Selina and Binny, because they came back to me after 1 year, interrupted me in the corridor for nothing, greeted me and had a little talk. Right? Move ahead. With equal diligence, this harmony, focus on the word harmony, this harmony This harmony means the harmony between the teacher and the student here, the music teacher and the student. This cordial relation between the teacher and the student. This harmony reflects a relationship between a teacher and a student. 2 years ago, at the university, I emailed an assignment to my students. And when I went to my class on Sunday, some of the students wrote an application against me, went to the department head and said they won't study with me. They boycotted my class. And I had to quit teaching them that semester. This happened for the first time in my 33 years teaching career. It hurt me like nothing because those students had insulted me as badly as they could. I'm bringing this anecdote to you from my university to make you understand the importance of good relationship between students and teachers. Today, I am very poor in that subject. I won't name the subject here because I did not have a good relation with that teacher. Today, I am an English teacher because I had a very good relation with my English teacher. If you hate a teacher, chances are you will be poor in that subject. If you wonderfully love a teacher, chances are you will first do his assignment at home because you like and respect the teacher. So the relation between the learner and the teacher is fundamental in the process of learning. Ask me a question. What is the most important thing in the classroom? I will say the cordial, mutual, good relation between the teacher and the student. That is the utmost thing. If you hate the Vakasa, you will pucker your face as I come in. You will snap. And throughout the class, you will pretend you are studying, but you won't study. Right? And he talks about harmonious relationship between a teacher and a student. And this essay is about the relation between teacher and student and what problems are coming in that relationship and who is responsible. When this harmony is fractured, broken, something is seriously wrong with culture at large. Now, ask a question. Why students do not respect their teachers today? Ask a question like this. One answer would come. The problem is with our culture. The problem is with our culture. In grade 11, I had a poetry book, and there were two poems that shaped my attitude about teacher. One poem was, Sadguru aisa chahiye, jaisa sup suhai, sar sar ko gahi rahe, thotha dehi udaye. A good teacher is like the sift. What do you call in English the nanglo? I guess it's sift. Sift. You sift paddy and rice. Nanglo in Nepali is in English, I guess sift. A good teacher is like the sift. What does the sift do? It separates the rice with the husk. What does a good teacher do? It instills in you the critical consciousness to value what is more important and what is less important. A great teacher makes his student critical thinker. A great teacher makes his student critical thinker. A poor teacher makes them rote learner. Okay, so when this harmony is fractured, this is the argument. This is the argument. This is the thesis. This is the thesis statement in this argument essay. This essay is also argumentative because it picks up a social problem issue. What problem? Disrespect of the teachers. And it explores the causes for this disrespect. And it takes a position also. Move ahead. Listen quietly, note down, and try to understand. If you don't understand, raise your hand, I'll attend to you. A violinist once told me, I forgot one thing, let me tell you. Before I move, I'll forget. This first paragraph, let me aid here. This is called analogy. Actually, the writer is going to talk about teachers, but he begins with a violinist. An analogy is you compare two unrelated things to make a meaning, right? So, he begins with the analogy. The violin is a metaphor. The violin is a metaphor. Who is a violin? The student. Who is the violinist? The teacher. What is the sonorous music? The learning. The learning. Great learning occurs in the classroom when the student and teacher behave like a violin and violin player. When they know how to play. So teaching and learning is like music, very sensitive. So I was trying to say this first paragraph opens with an analogy or metaphor. Move ahead. A violinist once told me how a Western family that took lessons from him did not pay him. Now, the moment you see the word once, understand that this is a narrative. Once upon a time. So now we have story within a story. We have a story within a story. A violinist once told me how a Western family, now mark this word Western because this essay argues that teachers are disrespected because of pop culture. And pop culture is a Western phenomenon, right? Family that took lessons from him did not pay him. I remember now, before you, in 2046, when I became teacher for the first time in a school in the village in Nepal, one school did not pay my 2 months' salary. It was 7,200 rupees. Once I took tuition to some students at one tuition center at Bagbazar, right opposite to Padma Kanya College. They did not pay me 9,000 tuition fee. Once I taught in a 10+2 around Naya Bazar, I would name the college. They did not pay me 3-month fee. Once I taught in a school for 10 years, and when I left, they were supposed to pay me my leave salary for 90 days. They did not pay me. Once I taught in a very famous school around, you can guess, I shouldn't tell the location also, very famous. They did not pay me 2 months' salary. Who else did not pay me? I might have forgotten more. If I have to count, maybe many schools, they took about 70,000, 80,000 rupees of this teacher. They simply didn't pay. In Nepal, it's a serious problem. Many schools, many colleges, many people take the labor of the teacher and they simply do not pay. So here I'm talking about paying money. If you don't pay money, it hurts less. But if you don't pay respect, it hurts more. That's the point this is making. If you do not pay money, it hurts less. I can earn elsewhere. But if you insult a teacher, it hurts more. That is the argument this is making. And raising the question, why we are hurting teachers. Okay. Claiming that he had never taught them. Now, the question is, what do you mean by teaching? Suppose I'm teaching you, and suppose just imagine she fails. Just imagine, take it easy. Now, her guardians come in a parental meeting here, and she has failed in my subject. And imagine her guardians say, के पढाउनु भयो दिवाकर सरले, मेरो बच्ची फेल भयो त, उहाँले किन स्यालेरी दिने? What does teaching mean here? Here teaching means I should make her pass with good grades in exam. Right? One meaning of teaching. Another meaning of, deeper meaning of teaching is, teaching life skills. As a teacher, I fail if this student in her life is not able to solve her life problems. Because ultimate purpose of teaching is enabling you to solve your problems of life, not getting grade. As John Holt said last time, the ultimate aim of education is helping you make sense of the world. If because of my teaching, Stella cannot understand people and the world, society at large, I have failed as a teacher. I have failed as a teacher. Okay. His story hit home. So if something hits you home, it hits in your heart. It touches you emotionally. For me, we hear stories of unpaid Nepali laborers in West Asia. As I told you, the kairos of this article. When this article was published on July 8, 2023, a week ago, there were news in BBC and social media also in that many Nepali laborers in Saudi companies, they are not getting salary. And they are in the street. They are going hungry. Okay. We hear stories of unpaid doctors in Nepali hospitals. Yes, once I was down. And I was talking about some nurses here. They were doing nursing in the year. They were in final year. Then I said, how much are you getting in internship? And she said, sir, I get 7,000 rupees. And I said, how long do you work? And she said, 12 hours, 16 hours, 18 hours. God, I had goosebumps. Can you imagine somebody, a nurse, working 12-hour shift for 7,000? Then she said, Divakar sir, hospitals badly exploit nurses in Nepal. That's why no nurses want to stay in Nepal. They go to Australia and UK. In UK, a nurse is paid Nepali 4 lakh rupees a month, I heard. In Nepal, a nurse is paid Nepali 7,000 rupees. I heard. I may be right, I may be wrong, I don't know. Stories of unpaid doctors in Nepali hospitals. And we hear story. Only yesterday, I read an article. Why? In Shetopati, I forgot. Where it says, 70 देखि 80 लाख खर्च गरेर MBBS पास गरेपछि 20,000 मा काम गर्नुपर्छ डाक्टरले. There was a news yesterday. Can you imagine? You spend 70 lakh rupees and you get 20,000 rupees. Look, the situation, right? And we hear stories of unpaid teachers in Nepali colleges. I am the unpaid teacher, financially, economically. The violinist, once he had told me the story of failing to receive a payment. Please focus more on the word payment, because I told you in the very beginning, the word payment has multiple meanings in this essay. One meaning is financially, cash, giving you cash. I take my purse and I take my money. I don't have much money today. I have only about 200 rupees in my guess. How much? Yes. Yeah, 240 rupees. So I take money and I say, here is a payment. So I am paying this payment. One meaning. But here's a deeper meaning. Deeper meaning is showing you due respect. Then if I respect you, I'm paying you. Pay respect. And the argument here is that teachers are not looking for money. Teachers are looking for love, dignity, care, respect. They are not looking for money. That's the point. But the story left me disturbed. Laugh it off. Laugh it. In Nepali, you say a phrase, "Hasama udaidinu." That is exactly what laugh it off means. But the story left me disturbed suddenly. Now look, this one, this is called exigence. Exigence is anything that triggers a response. Something that triggers a response is called exigence. A problem that makes you think. A problem that makes you write. So ask a question, Divakar sir, why did Professor Gupto write this essay? One answer comes, one day someone told him a story about an unpaid violinist and he wrote the essay. So his hearing the story is called exigence. E-X-I-G-E-N-C-E. Exigence is a rhetorical term which means something that provokes you to respond to something, something that triggers you, something that makes you do something. Right? Exigence. A problem or issue. Suddenly a student invited me to a teacher's day evening. Now when I read this line, last week, to honor us, I was unwilling to go for no reason in particular. Now this last week, this is Kairos. The time, last week means 2023, July 1 to 7. Because this article was published on July 8. And some events that happened in Professor Gupto's life that week, they triggered this essay. They made him write this essay. Okay. Move ahead. It does not matter which country or culture the student's family that denied payment to the violin teacher belonged to. Now look what he's doing. In the previous paragraph, he talked about a particular violinist. Now in this paragraph, he is moving from particular to general. Because in the previous paragraph, he talked about one teacher, the violin teacher in Canada. Now he is talking about all teachers, particular to general. This is called personal public essay. A very famous genre. What is personal public essay? Personal public essay is one where you begin with your personal experience, some kind of experience, and you connect that personal experience with a broader social issue and write an essay. So he begins with his personal story. One of my friends told me that he was a teacher in Canada and he was not paid. Personal experience. And then he talks about teachers in general around the world. So that is called personal public essay or personal public argument. Right? This is a new genre. I'm telling a new word to you. Okay. Rather, it concerns how we behave. So the theme of this essay, the topic of this essay, the subject matter of this essay is how we behave with teachers in general. He talked about a particular teacher earlier. Now it comes about in general teachers. There are many such instances of considering teachers in hierarchical order. I have had this experience in my class. I'm sorry to say with you, you might feel hurt. Many times I feel like my students compare me with the workers at their home. And they create a hierarchy. I have had such experience in the classroom. I'm sorry to share this experience. Right? Imagine how hurting it is. Your student is giving you a hint that he is judging you with a worker at his home. Right? And what matters is not how the teachers are not paid, but how they are demeaned. So this essay is about how our culture is teaching us to demean our teachers. And the writer says it is a serious problem because it shows that our society is sick. Any society where teachers, genuine teachers, get disrespected, that society is a sick society. Such society can't grow. Because teachers, genuine teachers, if they are torch bearers in society. They show the path to people in society. And when you disrespect the torch bearers, you become a sick society. I stop here and I'll continue tomorrow. A wonderful essay, right? Looks simple, but it can provoke many thoughtful ideas. Thank you for listening patiently. Hope you made notes. And if you find time at home, go through the whole essay. Tomorrow we'll discuss more. Thank you.